Friends, I again welcome you on this TCC platform. And today we are going to have a very interesting discussion which combines actually two topics, which is saving our environment as well as career opportunities. We have the opportunity of discussing the EV market, this electric vehicles market that is rapidly growing in India as well as across the globe, which we feel that there is a save in terms of the pollution level, which is very much required as per the transportation solutions are concerned at this age. And we are really fortunate today to have with us Professor Dr. Abhik Bhattacharya. He's an esteemed associate professor with IIT Roorkee in the Department of Electrical Engineering. He is also heading a distinguished lab over there, which is the short form is very sweet and sound, which is called Pearl, and it's the full form is actually Power Electronics Applications Laboratory and Power Electronics and Renewable Energy Applications Laboratory. So maybe the short form is very sweet, but the overall meaning is a dimension is very large. It encompasses a lot of activities, starting from obviously EVs, different types of AC transmission system, power quality, etc., in which they do a lot of research and helps. There is an interchange with the industry per se also. Going back to Professor Abhik Bhattacharya, he has completed his PhD and MTech from IIT Kharagpur throughout a distinguished career for more than 2 decades now. He has worked in the industry also, specifically or with Samtel, and he has done a lot of contribution in the field of solar power, which is also a renewable energy form system in this earth. And as such, he is also a senior member of the IEEE, which is a engineering body which looks after all the publications, etc. Based on this sort of experience, he has been able to travel across globe, giving a lot of lectures, attending seminars, giving his important point of view on all these specifications. So today we are very fortunate to have Dr. Abhik Bhattacharya with us. And I would just now like to open the floor to him and invite him just to speak his experiences on the EV market that is there in India and why it is so much pertinent, and what are the career opportunities that per se that we can foresee, and what sort of skill set that will be required for us to enter into this market. So over to you, Avigda. It's all up to you. Please feel free to express your views, and we will be delighted to get enriched on those subjects. Please.
Thank you for your kind introduction. Uh, Victor Hugo once said, you cannot stop an idea whose age has come."
Correct.
So I must say that now age of the EV has come.
Mhm.
So, and it is not an idea; it is reality. So now, why we should adopt EVs? We all know that. We are not going into the detail. Uh, but what are the career opportunity of the EV? And or is it a zero sum game? That is also important. Are we replacing the conventional IC based engine, and we are adopting the electric vehicle, so that the person who are already in automobile industry, so called automobile industry, uh, they will shift their focus into the EV, or EV gives us a itself is a new horizon of hope. Of course, there are three challenges. Please understand it that country like India, we require to have a build huge infrastructures for EV. Now, fortunately, road infrastructure has been built for the road transportation. Now we can see that the logistics can be, or travel can be made much convenient. So now, and definitely based on that, the second reform will be definitely on the EV infrastructures. So if you have to have a second reform on the EV infrastructure, that's a huge. I know I have estimated something like 5 lakh crore investment. And if we in India to do it, do it by 5 years, so it is around 5-6 lakh crores of investments we require to build only for the ecosystems in and around that cities which is basically having a very poor air quality problem. Where is there is a need? Basically,
Correct.
we require to breathe in a good quality air. It is of one of the fundamental right, and we require to give a good quality air to our Gen Next.
Correct.
So, and there, this kind of investment is necessary to create the EV infrastructures. And now come to the point of the electric vehicles. Electric vehicle can be two-wheeler, three-wheeler, four-wheeler, buses, as well as the rapid transport system. All actually comes to the EV.
Mhm.
So, since we are not talking about the that grid connected EV, we are now focused only on the non-grid connected EVs,
Right.
right? So now actually, like I stay in Roorkee, from Delhi to actually Meerut, there is a rapid transport system. I
Mhm.
can find that train travels at a speed of 140 kilometer per hour. We can
Mhm.
reach within a 45 to 60 minutes in Meerut, which
Correct.
was to be the 2 to 3 hours from Delhi to Meerut. So
Right.
that's that aspect I am leaving that part.
Mhm.
And so definitely that first is an EP infrastructure, and there is a huge scope of startup because we cannot expect that there is a cost sensitivity in the issue. So lot of company I so far I know there is a 2000 Indian companies are working in a EV infrastructure setup, that is mostly the charging infrastructure. And if you count there actually the operation and maintenance,
Mhm.
so these numbers definitely is going to be the huge.
Mhm.
And in that way, EV infrastructure is very democratic in nature because anyone with a very small capital can come and start the business, which is not possible for the. I cannot think about the auto ancillary business to start,
Right.
right?
Right.
So, but a couple of my students they have started. Whether they will be successful or not, the time will say. But they have shown the courage to actually taken to start up their own company.
Right.
This so having said that, definitely we require a huge manpower. Even the company which here incubated in IIT Roorkee, they almost advertised almost every day in LinkedIn for the new position in power electronics or the embedded system, etc. So for this reasons, that we as electrical engineers feel actually feel proud of it that that nowadays uh, we will drive the market. So power electronics, that is something that which people don't used to study, the data science and all those things they used to study. So they almost every day if you find there is advertisement in LinkedIn in startup companies for recruitment of this power electronics company. Power electronics as well as the embedded system are definitely there. It has to be coupled with the IoT because we want to say everything in a cloud computing. That's fine.
Correct.
Apart from that, power electronics is something that has a very scope of those companies.
Mhm.
So for EV infrastructure. Similarly, these are the big companies. Definitely, we cannot expect that the electric vehicle company will be a startup, but their ancillaries can be the will be the actually the smaller company. There are many I have visited. I have many smaller company who manufactures this electric machines, APMSM and etc. So
Correct.
there is a huge scope there in a machine design and other aspect to start a startup or the actually it can be the B2B business.
Right.
Okay, so it can be a B2B business. They can be a supplier for different the big companies which were manufacturing the electric vehicles like Tata, Mahindra, etc. Okay, so there is a scope of startup and then ancillaries. So there, and of course, one can directly absorb in the electric vehicle companies. That's fine, the Tata Motors, and for this reason, for Tata Motor or Mahindra or other companies also we can count in the electric vehicles. So in that way, also battery management system, battery storage system also has a good scope because because 45% of the total cost of the bill of material of the car comes from the battery and its
But
management system. And there, for these reasons, the software company is now investing in good amount of money to actually make very friendly BMS, as well as the battery companies are researching on higher power density battery. One of the reason is that lead has an environmental problem and bulky. Now we are shifting to the lithium ion battery. Lithium ion battery is also there is a problem that extractions mostly done in China.
correct.
So we have political issues with the China.
Mhm.
So for this reasons, investigation is going on to replace this lithium ion to the sodium ion battery.
Okay.
Fortunately, we have a continent in our names. Okay, Indian Ocean. So
Mhm.
sodium has no problem. There is no dearth of the sodium, but there is a challenge definitely that those who are researching on the material science can elaborate it. So once we can have the sodium ion batteries, we expect that the dependency on the foreign partners. Also, we know that there is a lithium ion discovery in Jammu and Kashmir. Those
Correct.
issues are there, but extraction takes a lot of time and it is not environmental friendly. But
Correct.
if sodium becomes environmental friendly, definitely we expect that huge amount of that we will source our battery from the Indian source. So scope is huge and it is not a zero sum game because today even people due to the lack of infrastructures believes that we can't buy the electric vehicle, right?
Right. It is
So
just
for
like Obikda, just like when we were actually studying when your solar power came to India in initial stages. So the at grid cost of the solar power was very high regarding the conventional cost of solar power. So it took some time for that cost parity to come into aspect.
so
So that is what I think the development cycle that you are talking of EVs, and that is the reason why it has come of age because everywhere we are having a cost advantage or the economic advantage that it provides along with the environmental aspects. But I would like to draw a certain thing to your, I mean, just to have an idea from you. Let's say we are talking of because you see this as you said 40-45% of the cost of materials if you say is of the lithium ion batteries. Now we also understand there is a the once the battery is used for let's say 10-15 years it has to be disposed of. So is there any environmental issues on that, on discharging this lithium ion, and is there any opportunity on this e-waste that we are talking of? Because that is
I,
also a byproduct of this
right, I
industry.
I just second your first you said that you talked about the grid parity,
Right.
right? So when we were in 2005 6 we then it was a very costly solar and we used to talk about when we will reach to the grid parity. Now in a reverse splitting solar power generated at a cost of 3 rupees.
Right.
It is almost half of the cost of the grid power,
Right.
right?
Mm.
Yes, and definitely it will come down. And one of the reason, on of course, we require to attack the a room elephant in the room.
Okay.
Elephant in the room is that actually the battery,
Mhm.
right?
That is the
And
thing.
there's a two aspect of your questions. One aspect is definitely that we should have that ecosystem that is we have a recycle process in India for the lithium ion, as for sorry, my apologies, lead acid batteries, right? So for this reason, we get a good exchange value once we actually replace our lead acid battery. But unfortunately, those lithium ion batteries are dumped. They
Mm,
put into this actually the container, they ship to the China, and we never know what happens there.
mm,
So these are the some issues that how can we make the process reversible?
mm.
Process reversible according to the thermodynamics is a matter of energy.
Correct.
Okay, like if I am holding this glass and if I drop it, and definitely it will tear up in a pieces.
Mm,
And if someone shows if you show that actually in a video that there's a glass pieces, and and from there we get a this tumbler, it
mhm,
means that either we require a huge amount of energy,
mhm.
or you have reversed the video.
Correct.
You went the direction of the time.
Right.
As simple as that.
As simple as this.
So for this reason, let's leave apart that part.
Mm.
That is a part of the cinematography. So uh, so there are it can be done in a third desert. Let's say
Okay.
there is a plenty of the solar and wind.
Mm,
Why can't we do that extraction process there?
mhm.
Okay,
Right.
what China do in a that is a I read about the Taklamakan Marubhumi from a book of Satyajit Ray. So for best of my knowledge, where they extract they actually recycle this process in those places. Okay, same can be done with the third deserts and all those places, because there's a plenty of solar and wind, and we have to do the reverse process, and the process can be green. Because ultimately, what you require is the energy.
Correct. So, Dr. Bhattacharya, that the point that that we are trying to make is actually, it is the EV ecosystem that we are talking of. It is that has a lot of, opportunity in terms of research. Betterment of the material, betterment of whatever, I mean, sort of materials that we are using, in terms of the technology that we are imputing into the car. Because if you see, a lot of cars are interconnected cars that are coming into, which are all EV power. There are a lot of sensor based cars which we, though it is based on ICE as well as on but the software and hardware that is getting revamped day by day. We are talking of ADAS and everything. So in a automobile sector, it's a very thrilling time right now, in which we have the first, we didn't had anything. It's almost petrol or diesel as the input fuel. Now we have an opportunity in which we are talking of fuel cells, we are talking of batteries, lithium ion batteries. In fact, we are moving, as you said, we are moving to sodium ion also. There's a research going on. So in a way, there is lot of opportunity for research. And also, if you see from the production till the charging infrastructure that is there, so everywhere there is an opportunity for a startup, for an entrepreneurship, or for maybe to join a company which is into this sort of a field. I mean, that is what we were discussing, right, sir?
Right, advantage is that for I just went to the Bangalore a couple of days ago. We had a conference, IEEE conference. I met at least 20 uh, companies there, and all the CEOs are very young and energetic, and they want to have a bet. They want to put the money uh, on the not only manufacturing but also the research
The
activities.
research part, yes.
So they feel proud having a patents and etc.
So I think
So
this is the major difference in the mindset that we are
right,
seeing into in India.
previously we have seen the companies, except few,
Hmm.
mainly they do the trading businesses,
Right.
and they try to import some technology from the outside
Hmm.
instead of the in-house development,
Hmm.
uh, and some copy paste or something.
Hmm.
And fortunately, those young energetic entrepreneurs are definitely, they have to end of the day they have to earn their they have to run their business. their
Correct.
profit matters. They
Correct.
have to give their salary to the employees.
Correct. Correct.
But uh, but even after that, also that foreign company used to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Honda was also started from the garage,
Right.
and they also lead so many patents.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So
Right.
ultimately, they had that vision so that not only manufacture, because if this shirt, can last for 1 years.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I require to scrap that shirt.
Right.
And for this reason, I require to invest in my future. That is the research.
Right. Right. Right.
So that mentality, unfortunately was missing, and all the focus of the previous companies was for today.
Mm-hmm.
What actually the manufacturer used to manufacture for today. Yes, there is a market, let's go there. But why can't you make a market?
Right.
That
And
is all.
also, Victor, there is one more thing. One more.
They
Yeah.
can't create a market.
Right. Right. And that is where the challenge is. You create that market. As you see, if you see Toyota is totally focused on fuel cell. It's on hydrogen that they are
Then a
focusing on.
hybrid, basically hybrid electric vehicle
Hybrid
technology.
electric vehicles. And if you see, what comes to my mind is when we are discussing these things like the ecosystem that we are talking of. What happens is, we had the S curve. We have all learned about the technological S curve. If you're trying to elevate your technology to the next level, so you have to the gradient is very high, which we are right now seeing from BS5 to BS6. So that is the situation in which, but in EVs we have not hit that plateau, that S part of that technology right now, because still we have lot of ways in which we can minimize cost, bring in lot of expertise in terms of research findings, and that is where the crux lies, because and that helps us in scaling up our operations at this moment in the
There
EV
are
sector.
three challenges in electric vehicle.
Hmm.
First of all, most of the people still now, our car is our pride possession,
Correct.
which was ignored by Ratan Tata and Feld. Okay, be honest
I
to
have a
it.
different take on that. We'll discuss later.
Anyway,
Hmm.
so generally people, if you see that, most popular car is of the budgets of our 6 to 8 months salary.
Yeah.
Those who can afford the car, those who can manage to afford the car, they try to purchase their car to 6 to 8 months salary.
Right.
So, and ultimately, you require to put your electric vehicle in that segment, whether you can do it or not. If you
Mhm.
can do it, and of course with the competitive uh, space, Swift Desire, if it is an electric vehicle at same price, everyone will take it.
No, Abhik, if you see, when we started talking of EVs, when it initially started, and today, if you see Tata Group and the entry level cars that we are talking of, today we are getting from MG also we are getting a below 10 lakh sort of an option for an EV vehicle, which was not there. Now, there is a gimmick which comes into it. It's not only technology; it's a gimmick which comes into, like, what is the major cost of the car? Is the battery, like. So what the game is, you do not own the battery, you lease it on. Okay. So it is given to lease on the customer, and every month or every year they charge something on the basis of the mileage that you draw or you get.
So,
And that reduces the cost because you are not owning the battery. So there is another way of financing and
so yeah,
giving certain sort of
it
a
is a
cost.
financial policy,
Yes,
how you
yes.
can actually leverage it. It can have a capex model, it can have a opex
Right,
model.
right.
So that can be also think about it. But having said that, actually, till now, basically, I feel that, as a commercial vehicle, electric car, if we have a infrastructures,
Mhm.
okay, because, if I go to Calcutta to, Durgapur by car,
Right.
or if I go to Roorkee to Delhi by car,
Mhm.
So then what I require is essentially an infrastructure, charging infrastructures.
Correct, correct.
If it is built, then people will take it because uh, the cost of the mileage of the electric vehicle is around 2 rupees.
Mhm.
Whereas the cost of the petrol car nowadays, almost in Delhi has stopped entering diesel car based on my knowledge.
Mhm.
Okay, so almost 8 to 9 rupees.
Yeah, it's around 9.5, 9.25
Huh.
around that
So
figure.
depends,
Yes, yes.
anyway. So there is a parity also to go
Mm.
for this, but since the capital cost is around 4 to 5 lakhs more, now what is your repay time? And also there is a cost of money in India,
Mm.
unlike European Union, because we have to pay around 9 to 10% interest. Let's say I can earn 9 to 10% interest, or if I don't take a home car loan.
Correct.
So definitely, so for this reason, that has to be also taken into the consideration.
Right,
So
right.
for this reasons, commercial vehicle, if it is infrastructure has been created, I see that like Zap in the city is quite popular and it is
Mm.
running a good business like Uber. The same
Mhm.
way, multi-city car will find soon that this will be the electric vehicle.
Correct.
But problem is that in the city where actually there is a maximum problem of the air quality.
Mhm.
There, how people will adopt. So because that how, this 4 to 5 lakhs rupees difference in interest on the capital cost, how that boils down. If I have a recovery period of 5 6 years, it doesn't make sense.
Yes. And that is where this all these schemes and everything
For
comes into.
so this kind of schemes are helpful that
Yes.
uh, you have a different kind of battery since it is a 45% of the total cost of the bill of material, not that on-road price. Okay,
Mhm.
so bill of materials. So for this reason, they have this kind. You lease a battery.
Right, right. So, Obikta, today we are actually closing on our time thing. We would
Right.
like to have another session with you, which will be a second
Okay.
part to this. But it will be more focused on, let's say, what we wanted to see. We have covered the technology aspect, we have covered the financing aspect, capex on opex everywhere. But what are the qualifications required to get into this field? How we can actually get ourselves ready for this industry? What are the nuances? As we talked about, there's a lot of intervening between IoT technology, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. Everything is clubbed together. So how to get into those grooves and how to
Right.
talk
To
about
get
those
into the EV business, very
EV
simple.
business per se
Mode.
on a
But
different mode. Let us take,
you are approaching from a
yeah.
different background.
Right. So from this background, let us say if we have a pyramidal structure in which we are talking from the last mile to the first mile, or from the first mile to the last mile. Let's say we are talking of the last mile connectivity, in which we are talking about infrastructure, etc., charging infrastructure, and first mile. Let us talk about the origin of the research and everywhere where the production comes into. So
Definitely.
maybe if you can provide us a bit of your time, maybe sometime later,
Yes, we can do after a couple of weeks, uh, first week of June. Huh?
we can do that. No
Uh,
problem. It will be very energetic and very enthusiastic for us
we
also.
shall discuss about this. What are the low-hanging fruit? Those if
Correct.
someone is starting, thinking to start the startup,
Right. Right.
and what are the certifications and all those things are required. And
Right.
also for the fresh fresh graduates from the electricals, communication, or the computer science engineering.
Right.
They wanted to get into the startup companies. Okay, so what are the skill set the startup company is looking for the
Right.
job perspective, not only the entrepreneurial perspectives.